Hey, what up everyone? Cardboard.Capitan here, and today I want to share this deck. Um, it's more of an experiment. One of the cards that I've been interested in for a long time is called One Last Job, and it's a white revival spell, and I think it's pretty powerful because it can not only revive creatures, it also has the option to revive vehicles and mounts, and bring back auras and equipment. So a lot of value in that card, and it does that through the spree cost. So the basic idea I'm going for here is to pull out of these creatures in the graveyard, the mounts, the creatures, use that one last job to revive them in one turn, and then swinging for the win. Now I'm using the desert, I guess, skeleton, because that's what I'm most familiar with. And I have a bunch of creatures that have entered the battlefield effects. So as you can see from my hand, I have Lootmonger, I have Greenblade. So I think Greenblade's one of the most powerful creatures you can drop in the format, so long as you have that desert land base. Now the consequence of having a desert land base is that a lot of your lands will enter the battlefield tap, so if you're playing a fast deck, then you're very slow against them. But fortunately, I run a few more untapped lands than I would usually run in a desert deck, so I'm able to get Greenblade out on turn 3. Okay, so I have two last jobs. One last jobs. I don't know how you would say that, but I think I'm just gonna swing in just to keep applying some pressure. And since I have one last job, I think I'm okay with putting the Calamity in my graveyard. But I do push and pull instead. Now, push and pull is a removal spell and a revival spell as well. So if for whatever reason I can't cast one last job, I can use push and pull, well, pull rather, for that one turn win. A opponent casts the or counters the attempted Lootmonger, but I get the treasure token. That's cool for me. Now the card I haven't talked about in my hand is Hearth Elemental. The basic idea there is that its cost gets reduced by the number of instant sorceries and adventure cards in your graveyard, but it can still trigger up the Beanstalk. Now, if you cast it for the 1 and red casting cost, then you discard your hand and draw 2 cards, which can be great if you need to put a whole bunch of cards in your graveyard quickly. Right here, I just go for the Calamity because I'm going to draw from Beanstalk, and if need be, I can bring it back next turn with one last job. Starlight Invocation, okay. But here, I'm going to top key the Greenblade because I don't exactly want to discard these cards in my hand. And Greenblade, the enter the battlefield effect triggers twice, so I'm looking for 2 lands. Opponent weaves the Nightmare on the Greenblade. No, the Calamity. So it does no damage, but there's still 2 green blades coming in for damage. Okay. 5 green blades. And even if the opponent removes some creatures here, I have enough mana. Okay, so board wipe. I have enough mana to use both modes of One Last Job. So the mount and the creature form. So first pick is the creature you're gonna revive, and second pick is the mount. And since Calamity is a mount, I'm able to get Green Blade and a mount. And that's game. I believe that would have been 16 total. So I know I'm going against some form of heist, because I saw Weave the Nightmare and Lootmonger. Now, one of the cards I've been enjoying playing against heist is Return the Favor. Return the Favor is interesting because it's great against targeted removal because you can redirect that. You can also redirect counter spells. So if you target a counter spell with it, you have the counter spell target Return to Favor. Return to Favor resolves, and since the counter spell targets nothing, it fizzles out. Now, as far as taking this in other formats, I'm playing it in Alchemy right now just because I'm most familiar with it. I'm not sure if there's anything I would play that's available in Standard and not Alchemy. I know I tried One Last Job and Calamity with the Overlords, but they got heisted, so that might be some to try in Standard. But I just don't have the wild cards for a lot of the ideas I have. I think I could take out green and just leave it red and white. And include cards like Fear of Missing Out as a discard outlet. I'd have Fortune the Mount as another target for One Last Job. And Fortune can repeatedly blink creatures, so if you have creatures with good enter the battlefield effects like Fear of Missing Out, and that's the only one I can recall offhand right now, that's the route you can take. I have another Green Blade, and gonna get a red green land. I'm trying to hit the double red for Return of Favor. I already have the double white I need for Starfall. I want to swing in for damage. Open blocks. So I think I'm in a better position than the opponent right now. I have a lot of control cards, Return the Favor, Starfall Invocation, and I can protect that Green Blade pretty well right now. I'm not sure what I should be worried about. Maybe some instant removal. I was thinking about casting the Hearth Elemental, but if I need be, I can bring in Smuggler Surprise to bring out both at the same time. So opponent casts a Sandcloud Harbinger. It's heisted for me. Here we go. Go for the Calamity. Now, I'm not too worried about targeted removal, but there's counter spell, and that's fine because I can hold back the green blade, but I'm not too worried about 4 damage. Now, Harbinger, it's a fine card. Well, it's a fine card to get heisted because I'd say the card drawn is, well, let me rephrase that. You can abuse the Harbinger better than the opponent. So if the opponent heists it, it's not too big of a deal because they usually don't run deserts. Same deal with Desert Stew and other Desert Mare cards. So the opponent casted Nashi, the little mouse legend, and I'm expecting either Weave the Nightmare or Phantom Interference being brought back. So I'm considering my options here. If the opponent has brought back Weave the Nightmare, I can use Return the Favor to counter that. But if the opponent brought back Phantom Interference, I can cast a 4 mana cost spell without any problems. So I'm going for Biza just to have another blocker. Opponent casts Nowhere to Run. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I should use Smuggler's Surprise, but then Nowhere to Run gets around the hexproof. Now, even though the opponent has a whole lot more land than me, playing Biza, even though I didn't gain life, even though I didn't get fish tokens, whatever, right? I got the treasure token, and that's pretty important. I'm gonna give my opponent 3 life, and I draw a card. Let's see. If I cast One Last Job here, I can bring back a mount, which wouldn't do anything because I can't copy Biza anyway. I'm gonna go for it, right? And it's not too big of a deal because if the opponent has Phantom Interference, I can pay the 2. But if the opponent has Weave the Nightmare, I have another One Last Job. So there's a Phantom Interference. I'm able to pay the 2. And yet another Phantom Interference. So not too big of a deal. I lose a treasure token, and I lose 1 copy of One Last Job, but I have another one in hand, so no big deal. I get Triumphant Getawayed. Triumphant Getawayed. Targeted by Triumphant Getaway. Now, I always like to use, like to add endings to these car names, but probably not the best way to describe them. So, opponent has 2 Sandcloud Harbingers. I'm about to call them Sand Clown Harbingers, but I have Starfall Invocation. That's what I'll do. Just play it first. And what's cool about Starfall Invocation, even if one of your creatures gets taken, you can use the gift option, bring that heisted card, stolen card, back to your side of the field, and that's one of the main reasons I put it in the deck. So I can have multiple activations of the Sand Cloud Harbinger. I'm getting rid of Hearth Elemental because I don't want to discard this hand. And I don't have Of the Beanstalk to abuse the lowered casting cost, but it pays off. I get a Grenzo, and that's the big win condition of Heist. So let's see. The opponent One Last Job's Nashi and heists me with Lootmonger. So again, the opponent probably has a Phantom Interference or Weave the Nightmare, and considering just the state of how much mana is in play, Phantom Interference probably isn't the best option. So I'll go for the One Last Job. And I attempt to bring back Visa and Calamity. There is a Weave the Nightmare, but I have Return the Favor for it. So this is what I was talking about during sideboarding. You cast Return the Favor to redirect a counter spell to Return the Favor, then when Return the Favor resolves, and the counter spell fizzles out. So I'm copying 2 Lootmongers. I have 2 Starfall Invocations, so I don't really care about losing one. And I'm getting all these powerful cards. So, next turn, Grenzo. Next turn, Carnosaur. I can play Triumphant Getaway, too. Okay, you have a Harbinger, I really don't care. Gosh. I play Grenzo, I play Carnosaur, use Calamity to copy the Carnosaur. Yeah, let's see what happens. If the opponent doesn't concede. Don't try to ruin my fun. Weave the Nightmare, okay. You know, I could play Triumphant Getaway first, but I'd rather have the Smuggler's Surprise as an option for protection. So, Lootmonger. Lootmonger pulls the end. Copy Carnosaur. And I get 2 Carnosaurs, 2 Discover triggers. Another Lootmonger. So yeah, this is pretty ridiculous. You know, again, this is just an idea I had, just wanted to experiment a bit. If I had to redo the deck, I probably wouldn't have those Sand Cloud Harbingers. I'd focus more on red and white. I think green is optional, but because I'm playing the desert theme, it's necessary for some consistency. I don't know how this would do in standard, but I think it's worth exploring just because, you know, it has potential for 1-turn kill, and it has some what's the word? Resilience, because one last job can bring back your whole combo and potentially kill in 1 turn. So that's something that I'm gonna explore. I know this month's play-in, I think you call it, but the tournament at the end of the month is standard. So if I do decide to try standard, I'm still looking for a deck. That's something I'll explore. But with that said, if you enjoyed the video, you can find me on X under the username Cardboard.Capitan. My Mox field is Cardboard.Capitan. You know, I'll probably type this up, put this on Mox field just so you can see what it's like, hopefully inspire you, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.